Here's what you need to know about yellow fever.
Yellow fever is a disease that originated in Africa and, according to scientists, eventually spread to the Americas due to the transatlantic slave trade, where we saw groups of infected humans and mosquitoes traveling on these ships. The transmission route in general spreads through infected mosquitoes and not through human-to-human contact. There are three main transmission cycles that we see: the jungle, the intermediate, and the urban cycle. In the jungle, it usually occurs in tropical forests, mainly between monkeys and mosquitoes, and then contracted by humans when they enter into these environments and are bitten by an infected mosquito. In the intermediate, we see occurs in Africa and infects both monkeys and humans again, with smaller outbreaks in smaller villages. And in the urban cycle, we see occurs in congested cities, where we see infected humans being bitten by mosquitoes, and then these mosquitoes biting more humans, where we see epidemics happen because of this. And then symptoms that we see usually within the first 3 to 6 days. There's two stages: the early stage and the severe stage. In the early stage, we see fever, headache, muscle pain, fatigue, chills, loss of appetite. And in the severe stage, we might see things like jaundice, vomiting blood, irregular heartbeat, kidney problems, and confusion. Fun fact: yellow fever got its name from the yellowing of the skin and eyes. Now we're gonna go to Mariana with the government surveillance and response.
Thank you, Monica. Yellow fever is mosquito-borne viral disease that affects both humans and non-human primates. Historically, yellow fever caused devastating outbreaks in the Americas and Africa during 18th and 19th centuries, especially in port cities where mosquito populations were high. At the time, scientists did not yet understand how the disease spread, which made controlling outbreaks extremely difficult. Today, we know that yellow fever is transmitted by mosquitoes, and this knowledge has helped shape modern public health strategies. Because the virus circulates between wildlife, mosquitoes, and people, controlling yellow fever requires a One Health approach, which considers the connections between human health, animal health, and the environment. Government surveillance plays a key role in preventing outbreaks. Health agencies monitor mosquito populations, track human cases, and watch for infections in monkeys, which can act as early warning indicators. These surveillance systems help governments respond quickly with mosquito control, travel advisories, and vaccination campaigns to prevent further spread. Now, here's Andrea with the medical surveillance and response.
Thanks, Mariana. Yellow fever cases began outbreaking in the 18th and 19th century in the US, mainly in shipping areas, specifically ship docks amongst the crew, captains, and transporters in areas such as Philadelphia. During the 18th century, of the first epidemic of yellow fever, there were no health local and state organizations. Therefore, patient tracking was purely managed by local doctors who volunteered to take on these cases, and they only relied on visible symptoms such as fever, jaundice, and production of black vomit. However, the 19th century, which was the second marked epidemic of yellow fever, as the 18th century didn't really do a good job tracking it, they were initiating the local and state developments of health organizations, which recruited more physicians and also to help establish health laboratory safety protocols and tracking of patient records, along with initiating the first steps towards quarantining of patients, not just the crew members at the ship docks, but also their family, friends, and anyone whom they have made contact with. Not just quarantining in their homes with loved ones, but also helping establish wilderness camps where they would send some of the patients, which they believed that the fresh air in the wilderness would help get rid of the yellow fever faster. Even though this wasn't true, this shows early efforts of quarantining and hospitalization efforts. And that concludes the buzz about yellow fever. The main takeaway is that don't be a stuck-up and suck it up if you think you have contracted it or been exposed to yellow fever, because in the end, we would imagine we don't want yellow fever bugging you, or more importantly, bugging us at the US. Take care, guys. Bye!